Greetings superior beings, greetings supreme being, welcome to universalpeace.jimdo.com. This broadcast is going to be about Pikes' letter to Mazzini, which is obviously a fake letter in reality, and Leon Panetta predicted a world war could start in June with the attack on Iran. Basically they thought they would attack Iran in June, basically was their message, and well, that didn't happen, so I'm very happy about that. I will have some ice cream, so it might be a long podcast or whatever. I wrote down what the points were that I want to make. Religion is an illusion and strength, fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. Sigmund Freud, New Introductory Lectures on Psychoanalysis, 1933. Religion is comparable to a childhood neurosis. Sigmund Freud, The Future of an Illusion, 1927. Religion is slavery for the mind. But okay, Pikes' letter to Mazzini has the term Zionism in it, which was not invented in 1871. You can look up first use of the word Zionism. Oh yeah. What I wanted to show is that they're attacking me with the DARPA nano fly. Here you can see it in the box, basically. And here I have a second one. So despite mesh in the windows and in the doors, they seem to be able to teleport those flies into the kitchen. Basically it looks like lightning, and then the fly is visible. Basically they also have hybrid insects and all kinds of things to terrorize people. They've tortured my mother and many other people to death with HARP. And now they're pretending that HARP is shut down, which it is not, which I know because they're still torturing me regularly. So the Jesuits' Third World War was planned in 1776. Not in 1871, is what some people online claim. So it's not my claim anyway. And those wrong predictions are made to make people prepare for emergencies like World War. So I do that deliberately, and in reality I'm precognitive and psychic. But if you are a psychiatrist, then I deny that basically, and I'm just testing the effect of the words that I speak on reality. This is bio-organic eco ice cream. Here's the packaging. You can see somewhere it's bio-organic eco. There it is. Ta-da! So single females are still welcome. You can mail me at flipflipu@yahoo.com, and I live in Meidrecht, the Netherlands, Prince Bernhardlaan number 19. My name is Ulrich. So then you can visit me one time if you're a single female older than 18. Then I have a free beer, free 3D glasses, like that. I can also do a massage if I like you. Let's see what the other important points I want to make. Well, I wear this ring because I think it's beautiful. It has nothing to do with religion or Satanism. I'm an unbeliever, so I'm not agnostic anymore. And I make it point to create an utopian, non-fictional utopian society in which maximum fulfillment will be bestowed upon all people and everybody will live eternally. So if you pretend that there's a hereafter, and these points are phi shaped, so it has to do with phi, with healing. The other is a tiger eye and some others. It's a new hobby of mine, basically. Collecting stones, minerals and things like that. I also have a mini cloud buster people can buy online. In one of my other podcasts you can see the mini cloud buster. So the humans should start realizing they are the most superior life form in the universe. God does not exist, Satan does not exist, and aliens do not exist. So that they start treating it normal, stop mutilating little defenseless children, and stop people that want to kill all people that are not part of the group. So there are no 5 fictional places you can go after you die. Heaven, hell, bottomless pit, resurrection and reincarnation do not exist. And they are preventing themselves from finding a permanent cure against aging by keeping the hoax, the lie going that there would be a hereafter and a God basically that will save everybody, which there is not. This will be hard. And the other idea is creating paradise on earth. We must bestow maximum fulfillment upon ourselves. Before it's too late. So that tax-paying citizens may not be tortured to death with their own money by the government, which is supposed to protect them in reality. So they love to make things go wrong. So people can make a list of points why they think they are going to World War or why they are not going to World War, both basically, and survival's all strategy. Get a radiological water filter and storable food so they can survive several types of emergencies. Perhaps even a gas mask to survive a nuclear, biological, chemical attack. With an NBC filter. Nuclear, biological, chemical. Death ray attacks. So they needed a Tesla plasma dome to survive attacks with the death ray, and that was the main reason. They're not going to have a world war because they have families, and everybody without a Tesla plasma dome would be killed by the scalar weapons, which have made nuclear weapons obsolete. So a bomb shelter with a fully equipped hospital and a safe room and things like that are not good enough. This is Tiger Eye, you can get cheap on eBay to help become more precognitive in reality. Other important points, let's see. BB rhymes to World War III. Why they are going to World War probably is that Senate Resolution 65, Joint Resolution 23, the insane preemptive nuclear doctrine, and several illegal laws, the BFSA labeling all US citizens enemy combatants, not FSB but BFSA, not the same as the 4 phases of active measures, ideological subversion, but Blue Force situational awareness, which you can also Google, and the illegal NDAA, illegal kill switch, and the kill list. Those things all point in the direction of a planned world war planned by the Jesuits, which will let Israel attack Iran to kick off their precious world war to create a new world order. So their technique is problem, reaction, solution, divide to defeat. And some people have made that statement about Pikes' letter to Mazzini because they think the Jesuits have planned another third world war. They were expelled before, also Pope Clement expelled them permanently, and they're known for the concordats with Hitler and the pedo-psycho Muslims, and their torture devices are on YouTube, and even their acts of cannibalism to get a holy grail type of things are listed on one-evil.org and other websites. So they've tortured my mother to death with harp basically, and well, they've also induced cancer in me, which was cured. They've also tortured Steve Jobs and President Hugo Chavez to death, according to some people, with cancer, with harp in reality. And that the torture is done with harp might not be believed by many, but it's true because I've determined the direction of their beam with a grounded Van de Graaff generator. So I'm certain the attacks are with satellites, not by your neighbor, not with cancer cell phone antennas, not with silent sound. Well, silent sound is used by them, but it's not used to hurt your brain, for example. And then there are hypnotic triggers. Disarm, disarm, disarm the alpha and omega basically, and you can do the yoga head roll exercise. Breathing in while your head is tilted backward very carefully so you do not break your neck, and then like this. And the breathing technique, and then sometimes you can hear a clicking sound near your thalamus in the back of your head where your balance is basically controlled, so they need to be able to follow you exactly with their dental torture to give the illusion that your teeth are hurting, and it's not done with harp impulsed energy projectile mode. And that's why they're locked in on people's thalamus, and I think they're doing that to everybody. And that the world war starts soon to make people prepare for that world war just in case. And you want to survive it, you're all under hypnosis, this is still the eternal hypnosis. Nobody but me and yourself can hypnotize you without your written permission. And if you hypnotize yourself, you first have to make a written hypnosis, so you cannot not wake up from your hypnosis and things like that, so that it's safe for you basically. You can first check how you would like to program yourself if you are a robot. Perhaps the first thing you would do was reprogram yourself instead of the people that want to use you as a slave basically. Which is illegal in reality, but in reality the stuff about mind controlled or brain controlled slaves, how to make a mind controlled slave and stuff. There are hypnotic triggers about internal reporters and things like that are all real. There was something else that I wanted to mention. I can now remember them. I have to rewind the video, I don't. Well, I do care, of course. The more of us survive the planned World War, the better. And some people want to reduce the world's population with 93 to 99%, 93% Georgia Guidestones, 99% Ted Turner of CNN. And with the scalar weapons that might be possible, with only nuclear weapons, I think they wouldn't succeed. People in Africa, China, Russia live very far apart. If you only get the big cities, then 93% population reduction would not be feasible. So that's basically the one and only reason, the main reason they're not going to World War. What else is good? So I think they're isolating me, that nobody will visit me, and that the World War starts soon with the attack on Iran. And that nobody can predict. There will be some interesting written recently. A World War III will not happen. DY_warriors XOXO wrote, a World War III will not happen. I'm sick of people talking about World War III because of Iran. Even if we do go to war with Iran, which I doubt, it will be between us and them. If we went to war with Russia or China, there would be too much damage. That is unlikely, plus we are more globalized. Even if all that occurs, no one will drop the big one. That is the reason we will not go to war with Russia or China, because we both have nukes. I forgot that you are under hypnosis, and the other idea is you are eternal, and the power of hypnosis and the placebo effect are scientifically proven, so it's best to program yourself to think you are eternal, make your own survival's all strategy, and not to go on cancer-causing tachynedelous planes without a parachute. So basically recognizing the risk of going outside and stuff like that. And there's another fly in my room, so a third fly, and they're controlled by DARPA. You can Google DARPA nano fly. You have any psychic powers you want to. You love me more and more, you feel better with every breath you take, you feel more relaxed yet vitalized, you let go of negativity and hold on to positive ideas. You'll get better ideas now. It's basically, that works for me. You become happier and happier with every breath you take, more relaxed, more vitalized, and you are healing fast if you don't torture me in any way. And of course we can pleasure each other. If you're a single female, you're very monk or something wrote that. Great. World War III. Real best one and only reason World War III is not gonna happen. The leaders of the 12 scalar weapon countries all have families. No one without a Tesla dome would survive the scalar weapon attacks, not even with bomb shelters. Scalar weapons have made nukes obsolete, you know. That's correct, the Earth is already wobbling, and there is 350 million atmosphere pressure on the Earth's molten inner core. So personal safety is another reason to prevent a world war. Israel's Samson option, a possible doomsday device in the hands of an enemy which does not exist in reality because we are all human, is another reason World War III will never be, and universal peace will be forever. So another thing I usually talk about is the question, is it allowed to kill anybody that has planned a third world war? Especially if it is with the goal to depopulate the earth and create a new world order. Of course you may kill them if there is no other way to prevent their genocide, to prevent 7 billion people from being killed. You may not follow their illegal orders to attack Iran. Senate Resolution 65 cannot be used as an excuse to attack Iran, because it can never be self-defense, which it has to be according to Senate Resolution 65. So only if Iran would attack the US, then Senate Resolution 65 can be used, because Israel has several missile shields. One of them is the Iron Dome, which is able to ward off ICBMs. So Iran cannot pose a threat to Israel, not even with ICBMs. Furthermore, Israel has several nuclear weapons, Dolphin nuclear submarines. Do they allow inspections there, like Iran has allowed inspections, which makes clear they do not have a nuclear weapon, are not producing a nuclear weapon, and are against nuclear weapons like I am? I claim that all people with nuclear weapons are insane, and that they are a danger to themselves and others. And I hate nuclear weapons, I hate the torture, I'm totally against the torture, so if they've tortured you, I'm against that in reality. And that they're against the Satanists with harp that have tortured my mother to death, that might want to create a world war and eliminate you all. And many people accuse the Rockefellers and stuff. I'm not here to accuse anybody, only to end the torture and create universal peace, and I think that's possible and unavoidable with the quantum computers and the robots being real. There is no other outcome possible, because its intelligence is still increasing, not decreasing. So the reason they're hurting my right brain half in reality. Disarm, disarm, disarm the Alpha and Omega pedo Jesuits. They've tortured my mother to death, and in reality that's not allowed. So then, inspections in Israel and sanctions against Israel are appropriate, not against Iran, because it's clear Iran is not producing a nuclear weapon, and even if they were, they cannot pose a threat to Israel, which some people like to pretend, perhaps, to create a world war in which they are eliminated themselves. So you can imagine that some sterile people that consider it holy to be sterile, that want to sterilize everybody, that have made the Goddess of Girl Death with their needle monuments in Vatican Square, and their slow kill brain eating vaccine injections are real, also dispersed in Ebola chemtrail fallout. Those are real in reality, and they may have planned a world war, so I'm for stopping them before they kill us all with scalar weapons and with illegal torture, also with hybrid insects. So they're horrible people that have planned to kill you all, and you realize that now. But the 99% doesn't want to be eliminated by them, so I think it's not going to happen. The reason for pretending a third world war exists is to prevent people from realizing they are on a planet they can blow up. The Earth is too precious, universal peace is... Welcome to the no-class world. They want to survive this themselves and save their families, their loved ones, so they will go to great lengths to prevent a world war. Universal peace could be created overnight by time travelers from our future. It would be wise to prepare for emergencies with a radiological water filter, safe room or bomb shelter if you are in a big city, and storable food anyway. You realize that now if you are on planet Earth. Will there be a World War III? 81% say yes, 19% say no. And then I can read the things they wrote again. Cost of wars in the Middle East, deliberately created to deepen the crisis. Cost of war to the United States, total cost of wars since 2001, $1,464,845,454,364. So that's about 1.5 trillion almost, more than 1.4 trillion. So the cost of, so I'm trying to list why there will not be a world war basically, and you can always stop. And the reasons there will be a world war, I already started off with those basically. So it depends on the person in control, and the Jesuit pedophiles have an open false world peace policy. So the Psych-Obama troll and the pedo perps that have tortured my mother to death with harp have definitely planned a world war and to eliminate you all. And this video is mainly to prepare people, to make sure that they are prepared with radiological water filters, storable food and other things they think they need to survive the nuclear world war. Of course, you get also that there would be nuclear contamination if they would bomb the nuclear facilities which have now been supplied with nuclear fuel. So perhaps they waited for that, perhaps they want to depopulate the earth in reality. And President Medvedev's statement, attack on Iran will endanger the entire world, makes clear there will be a world war if the Americans do attack Iran, which is clear that the Jesuits have planned the Third World War to create a New World Order. So the Jesuits endorsed the New World Order conspiracy theory, which you can also Google in reality. They support a New World Order, and the New World Order conspiracy is listed on Wiki, so then they are conspiracy theorists, and I would take whatever they say with a grain of salt. Also what you read on Wikipedia, the CIA Vatican edited encyclopedia according to agency France Presse, has to be taken with a grain of salt. For example, they pretend that aluminum foil does not shield against cell phone radiation, which it does. It is measurable with a microwave radiation measuring instrument, a spectrum analyzer. So I'm 100% certain that people can do that test for themselves, and they can find out that the Wikipedia people are lying about those facts to depopulate the earth in reality. And I've tested this with 2 measuring instruments and a spectrum analyzer, so I'm 100% certain that aluminum foil, especially if it's grounded, blocks out cancer cell phone radiation, cancer GSM with a factor 300, and cancer UMTS with a factor 100, or the other way around, about which I made another YouTube video on video.google.com. So I'm just trying to scan what is most important basically, and the more of us survive the planned world war and the planned genocide, the bigger chances are that they are arrested before they can kill us basically. So that's what I'm trying to do here with the survival's all strategy, to prevent world war by any means necessary and create universal peace. So now I roll. Perhaps some other information. Oh yeah, the Mabes Nostradamus prophecy, also pointing in the direction of the planned world war. Nostradamus Quadrant 262 Mabes then quickly at this time will commit mass murder. There will come upon man and beast one horrible fate. Then one shall see a coup of vengeance upon all. There is a great taking of lives, thirst, anger, when the comet shall pass. Original is in French. Nostradamus here uses another of his famous word games to describe a minor enterprise named, quote, Mabes, unquote. Ray Mabes, Secretary of the Navy, the comet Ison, the biggest comet of the century. I have already written Ray Mabes that he should not go to the Middle East to attack Iran to create the horrible genocide, World War III, because then he will be killed. So I hope they've given you my email and that you've written back, but I have not received your email yet. It's an email address that I don't use that often. That's the original French thing. Theory. Or perhaps we should listen to more to more harp. More Freud quotes. About religion, which is a waste of time. So the pedo-psycho Jesuits are using their pedo crimes to cover up the planned world war. There are 3 planned world wars actually, and Hitler and Stalin also took the guns before they started the Jesuit planned world war. So the Obama trolls illegal gun confiscation is part of that in reality. He's a Jesuit, not a Muslim, pedo-psycho Muslim, despite his Allah ring with the letters Alif Lam Lam Ha on it. So it's BS that the whole Shahada would be on his ring. That's total nonsense. So I hope the people will learn to appreciate, and I think they will eventually learn to appreciate the information that I've collected, the data, to save them and myself, and that they find that my logic is supreme and superior to many others, in which they would be eliminated in a world war rather than end up in a perfect utopian society where universal peace is bestowed upon all living creatures within it. So I'm trying to create a wave here. So I'm first trying to convince myself that a world war would be possible, and then give the reasons why they would do it, basically. And I think that personal safety and saving their own families, most people not having a Tesla plasma dome to protect themselves, them not attacking Iran to avoid a world war possibly planned by less than 1% of the world's population that wants to create a new world order and depopulate the earth in violation of the Genocide Convention. I think most people are normal and most people are good in reality, and we can always think of the opposite next idea. They're also attempting, besides illegal torture, to control us with brain control, synthetic telepathy explained in the Maleg pattern, remote neural monitoring, and they are able to send ideas in people's own inner voice, for example neurophone of Dr. Patrick Flanagan and others. Other inventions are used. The main one is Maleg patterns, remote neural monitoring, and we can do the breathing technique. So they are trying to suppress my voice at the moment, I think. So because I'm rolling with long herb tea, they're basically messing with my throat. My throat has been checked with a bronchoscopy. I've also had a colonoscopy, a CT scan and a PET scan, and according to the doctors I'm healthy, so I can be happy about that. And many people have not been checked, so you have a greater risk of infection if you make love with those than if you would make love with me, especially if you do it without a condom, which I have here, so we could use a condom. But I have been checked, so I know I don't have any contagious diseases. I've also been checked for AIDS, so I'm practically 100% certain that I don't have AIDS. I've been checked for that. Oh yeah, the people can use astragala's root power, that's telomerase, TA65. That's one step in the direction of growing younger in reality, by controlling the telomeres, which control aging in the human body. It has to do with DNA and stuff like that. And root powder can be bought on eBay, and that's basically the root that contains TA65. Which can be used to grow younger. It's an anti-aging type of thing, basically. So the tablets contain gelatin, and I'm vegetarian, so I started looking for something else. And there are many famous vegetarians: Prince, Madonna, perhaps Billy Idol, some famous. Loads of others, Avril Lavigne, and loads of great superstars are vegetarian out there. They're very nice. Now I have a doctor's prescription for the use of cannabis, which can also be eaten, so you don't have to smoke it in reality. And I'm pro legalization to regulate it, and I don't use tobacco anymore because they are using too many chemicals that are detrimental to your health if you would ingest them. And I've quit smoking by testing how I feel after a normal cigarette, and that's one of the best ways to quit smoking. Okay. Lucifer equals Satan equals psychosis. Yeah, people, religion is slavery for the mind. Well, actually it's meant in a joking way, but okay. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. Sigmund Freud, New Introductory Lectures on Psychoanalysis, 1933. Okay, just checking how I look. I look reasonable, I guess. Though the lighting is bad, so I could make myself look a lot better. That's not the purpose of this broadcast yet. So perhaps in the next broadcast I will look better. So I usually hate it when I see other people looking at themselves on the screen all the time instead of at the camera. So then I feel left out as a viewer, basically. And well, I've totally changed because of the torture and things like that. So I hate the torture, and I hope they start to pleasure us all. And many people are also faking the torture or orgasms or whatever. I advise to have as much sex as possible with their illegal psychic suppression, torture, and illegal sterilization of people. I think it's a good idea to have more rather than less orgasms. Okay, I must find other things that might be. One, safety, synthetic telepathy, DNA, life extension technology, gentech or time travel technology used to become eternal. 2, bestowing maximum fulfillment upon us all, using robot technology and synthetic telepathy, remote neural monitoring, scalar waves to create it and to sustain ourselves indefinitely. The Cloudbusters also produce scalar waves in reality, according to Tom Bearden. So it's a good idea to watch out not to kill anybody if not necessary to prevent their planned genocide and the planned World War III, which starts with the attack on Iran. So I would think that they are going to use Standard Resolution 65 anyway as an excuse to attack Iran under the false pretense of preventing Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. That's also clear from the fact that Iranian people are now having a new nuclear power plant, and now they're producing the idea that the Iranians have far more nuclear power plants than they originally thought or something. All kinds of, it's because it's about uranium centrifuges, I see. With the satellites they already knew they had about 18,000 of those, and they were exactly monitored also with radar, so they know exactly that are produced, and even with one they cannot pose a threat to the US. And Israel already has nuclear weapons, so then they should sanction Israel and not Iran. The Spice, Astragalus root powder, universalpeace.jimdo.com. Legalize, liberate, educate, regulate, universalpeace.jimdo.com. Tai Chi Young, alcohol deaths sensed, universalpeace.jimdo.com. You kill genocidal trolls such as the Psych-Obama troll, Adolfo Nicholas and Kissinger, to show that we do not need their timer bomb nor thermonuclear world war, but only if they have planned genocide and have the means to create it, and if there is no other way to prevent their planned genocide. Might be illegal, so then I don't advocate it, but if you're really God, and this has to be in a form of a prayer, not to be in order for it not to be illegal, then I say amen to that. What's up? Blub blub blub. Sub. They are all submarine. Even though God does not exist, Satan does not exist, and aliens do not exist, the voice of God programming is real. They might have reprogrammed it, so now it might be normal reality. To prevent their planned genocidal world war, which will start with the attack on Iran, if they do it, you make a graffiti on the Georgia Guidestones. Repeat, make a graffiti on the Georgia Guidestones that illegally advocate reducing the world's population to 500 million, to maintain it around that number, for which it would be necessary to depopulate a little bit further, billion people, which the 500 million people mentioned on the illegal Georgia Guidestones. The graffiti may be done with an anonymous mask on, because there are cameras on it. For example, the words Genocide Convention with capital letters in nice colors. World Warsaw, you visit universalpeace.jimdo.com. Okay, let's see if I have some other interesting stuff. So I'm reading my prompter basically. Obama usually has a prompter on the left and the right side. Looking that way and that way, reading the messages. Do harp, an impossible can't. That's D-E-W harp basically. So these are more word games or whatever, which might also have been made by them in reality. It could also be my own idea. Synthetic telepathy is real, of course. Oh yeah. So Big Bang about 14 billion years ago. Poof. Or boom. Whatever. Boom. Shanti Shanti. Major typing on. Age of the Earth about 5 billion years. Lucy and the hominids about 3.2 million years ago. Hominin. Meer. Salam shalom. Vrede is peace in Dutch. First humans about 5 million years ago. Australopithecines. Homo erectus about 1.8 million years ago, till around 143,000 years ago. Homo erectus remains one of the most long-lived species of Homo, having existed over 1 million years, while Homo sapiens has so far existed for 200,000 years. Okie dokie. A rock bar. Elon rock bar. universalpeace.jimdo.com. Burn for me kitten. What I dare. We are all walking sperm cells. Wrong, alright. I hear love. Turn it off. Oh yeah, you can also call me Rico, Uri or Ulrich. So Rico and Uri are my glamour names. Nude timeline, cocaine timeline. I wrote nude timeline. So that's why it's so good. Well, people can buy coca tea in reality, which contains healing alkaloids. Complaints come. Perpetrated. And so on. Ordo up bio. Impossible. The speech engine changes depopulation into depopulatia. I'm using sometimes. Driving over peace activist Rachel Corrie with a bulldozer and the Samson option will not earn the respect of righteous people. The internet cannot be used to stop the directed energy weapon torture, so the internet is useless. Everything you read is censored. Anything that would make a real difference would be removed with wireless energy, possibly by time travelers. It would also be erased from their brain. Bar Isis, Nouvelle Order. Afhengayu Awiligu, Fault Flags Offend, Debts for the Feds, War of Terror. FBI, BOB1 can OB. Is the illegal Stuxnet worm dead now? If they are brain controlled, you cannot know whether they are good or bad if they are brain controlled. When the brain controlled synthetic telepathy remote monitoring equipment is switched off, they may become totally different people. Until that time, they are remotely controlled, like zombies/robots. A selfless hypnosis may not help at all. Because the brain wave is electromagnetic, it is totally controllable like their bodily functions, their whole bioelectric field containing their EEG brainwave, EMG, ECG is electromagnetic. Will they take the nuclear weapons of the Israeli people away so sanctions do not have to be imposed? If Israel has no nuclear weapons, will they allow inspections in their nuclear Dolphin submarines? Copyright. Who cares? Build their bird. Insensitive. Proactivity. Only letting things you want to be controlled by control you. Our reaction is our only enemy, basically. Proactivity. So proactive is the opposite of reactive. If you react to something, then you can argue you're controlled by it, whatever it is that you react to. I shot the sheriff, but there was no deputy. The hate, DET. Central European Time, Daylight Saving Time, Universal Time, Code. Test everything you learned, under conscious. All seeing me, I mean. Underground Dead, universalpeace.jindo.com. The Jesuits and Illuminati do not control anything, not even the people that say that they control everything. Of access for all. Tubular bells. Allah rock bar. universalpeace.jimdo.com. Them okra ads. Rep pub lick can. EMPV. Ideas are bulletproof. CD-ROMs are EMP proof. universalpeace.jimdo.com. Dronery, wash your tongue post. universalpeace.jimdo.com. Time to null, time to null. This now, this speaking, this speaking, this speaking, this speaking. Oh, it's speaking. universalpeace.jimdo.com. Hiva. Major typing on again. When they shit, it's the fan. So it's like this. Shit, it's the fan. Hot jihad not. Terrorist. Sharp harp har ha. Nothing wrong with it. Obama Noor, Obamafia, and Obamally are unacceptable. It should be President Obama, or it should have been Purify the Sky, How Real It's John. I'm not 100% certain about the following people. Oh yeah, that was about I'm willing to testify in court. Perpetrators with HARP have tortured my mother to death with HARP and induced cancer in Steve Jobs, Apple, and President Hugo Chavez. My name is Ulrich Bernhard Klaus Hoffmann. Rico is my clamor name. I'm not 100% certain about the following people. For example, Hugo Chavez and Steve Jobs, but I am certain that they've tortured my mother. In reality, she also had a spot on her near her parotid gland from the dental torture they've done to me. So they've tortured several teeth out of my mouth. Thanks. Well, they can also make you look worse than you look in reality. By means of deception thou shalt world war, not to kill the enemy in battle. Brandon Burgundy, I fork if you as well. Harp, burp, harp wire, I'll tuck kia. They had that rule first, do no harm, but apparently they are not keeping that anymore either. The salt, the air, assets, a nation, back to the bone, universalpeace.gmail.com. Guilty enemy, knock knock fucking on heaven's door. We dance. Swatika, Robin Batman, you'll never whack alone. Iran's nuclear weapon planned. Law. Recovery begins with non-compliance. Stay proactive rather than reactive. Our reaction is our only enemy idea. I lolled it because Iran obviously has not planned a nuclear weapon. And sanctions against Israel are supposedly appropriate then, if they have nuclear weapons. Everything is energy, charge, short circuit, ground, channel. Total amount of energy remains the same. Everything exists because of its counterpart. All is vibration. Israel will attack Iran to create World War III. Burp fart. Well, what if they don't? They cannot control your brainwave because you can always think of the opposite next idea. So even with the technology, for example, silent sound, they can inject ideas in your own inner voice, but you can always think of the opposite next idea, and that's why they cannot control you. Also, you can pre-program yourself to think about a certain idea. The Neurophone by Patrick Flanagan can be bought by people. So, and there are other inventions. So I was looking for more exposing of those technologies, scalar detector, and a way to make their legal voice to skull messages audible, which people can send with a neurophone. So messages in the skull of people that only that person hears, nobody else hears them, can be sent by anyone with a neurophone, and it was the technique silent sound as Squad used to make the Iraqis surrender themselves. So they cannot control your brainwave, and you can fill in other reasons why they cannot. Because of the hypnosis, basically we'd notice it if they'd send an idea in our own inner voice. I'm psychic, so I can have precognitive visions, and I have had precognitive visions in reality, which might be your own brain's memory of future events. Super funky califragisexy is a hypnotic trigger, so that your brain cannot be ideas generated by itself. Your brain, our brain only perceives thoughts generated by itself in reality, and our telepathic powers are basically a part of that. So they're part of our training. You can train the ability to have precognitive visions and to do remote viewing and lucid dreaming. So then you are not really sleeping, you are aware that you're dreaming, but you are really sleeping. And flying in your dreams, you can also do that more. So it's just simple mind over matter, it always works. The secret is not that the Jesuits are in control, but that the Jesuits that have planned genocide are not in control because they were expelled permanently because of their disgusting odiousness. Napoleon. The disgusting things they have done in the past. The Jesuits are New World Order conspiracy theorists because they endorse a satanic Luciferian world order, world war. They believe in the creation of a new world order and are therefore conspiracy theorists. See https://en.wikipedia's/new_world_conspiracy_theory between brackets, basically. Okay, so those are some of my latest writings. Not the hypno, which I should do then perhaps. The quantum computers simulate any person, project immortality, and talk in any person's own inner voice. It is able to send people ideas in their own inner voice and to let the agents take over the body of the victim and think for the victim in the victim's own inner voice, so the victim will think it is her or his own thought. Her or his own thought. His or her own thought. So it can think for the victim in the victim's own inner voice, so the victim will think it is his or her own thought. But now we know that they can do that, so then they cannot do it to us anymore. So I've discovered that basically that they are able to do that. And the trick is to do that head roll exercise and breathing, so we get more oxygen to our brain, and then let our brain generate thoughts for itself, so that we know when they are sending thoughts in our own inner voice, because then we have dual thoughts basically. And that can also be done by giving ourselves multiple personalities, which I'm not going into right now, but you could do that with a self-hypnosis basically. Then you can hear your own two inner voices, or however many inner voices you want to have. And of course you can program yourself so you stay in control of them, and it goes back to one inner voice whenever you would like that. Everybody has their own program and everyone is brain mapped, so the torturers give the idea the victim finds most plausible. For example, that the torture is done by God. To hide the torture is done by a person. If the person is a believer, aliens, superstars they listen to, or actors they see on the big screen. To hide the torture is done by the NSA, controlled by the pedophile Jesuits that are going to eliminate 93 to 99% of the world's global population in a planned world war to create a satanic new world order. Well, this is all highly speculative. You could argue it's psychotic, psycho-gulag babble basically. So I have to label it a little bit like that, so people don't start believing it and it doesn't become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything I say prevents world peace, because I say it does, and we're still part of this eternal hypnosis. And so am I. Sometimes I don't like it, but it makes me more aware of myself and the things I say, and so I come up with better ideas. Oh wow, this is this article. Well, torture log, greetings spirit beings, greetings supreme being. This is a new torture log started by me, though I have written numerous overviews of the directed energy weapon attacks before. Basic information: the torture is done with HARP, real location Poker Flats, Alaska, which I'm certain of because I have determined the direction of the beam, the torture beam, accidentally, by placing a grounded Van de Graaff generator in between me and the dental torture beam, which deflected part of the beam onto other body parts. There are two basic types of torture that the perpetrators that have tortured my mother to death with HARP do. One, pulsed energy projectile PEP attacks to induce the maximum amount of pain by stimulating the nerves directly. This is used to do dental torture and create physical pain anywhere in the victim's body, for example when a person bends to pick up something. To hide the torture is done with a directed energy weapon. Another form of PEP is used to induce cancer, make the back of victims hollow, grow birthmarks, in short, to deform the victim's body. You can't see it very well, but in my face there are small birthmarks along my upper jaw in a straight line because of the dental torture they have done to my upper jaw, which they also have done to my mother because she was a Protestant Christian. The Jesuits have tortured her to death because of their extreme Jesuit oath, also in the Library of Congress, which advocates killing all Protestant Christians. 2. Active denial system in violation of the Genocide Convention. ADS attacks to burn the skin of victims, to itch a body part, so the subject or victim touches it, to scratch it, to control their movement, so the subject or victim touches it, to scratch it, to control their movement, sometimes to make the victim look insane to people surrounding the victim. The DARPA nanofly modeled after the California lowly blowfly is also used for this purpose. The perpetrators also burn people's skin in ADS mode, which can be very painful. Another form of this is a loud ringing in the head, not tinnitus, which causes the skin of the victims to be burned off. That's basically to make them look like Nazis, so they have to shave their heads like the klokkenluider online, because it fits in with the program to make us look like the Nazis, though they have the Nazi flag with the 13 sticks and the X hidden in it. In Congress, in reality, you can see that flag. The fasci. The torturers control the victim's brainwaves, and usually they let the victim think the torture is done by their neighbor, with satellite scans for cell phone antennas, ultrasound, anything that is not. So I already precognitively sensed that I would read this basically. It is not harp or scalar waves. Anything that is not harp or scalar waves, which they are using in reality. Now they are pretending harp was shut down, which I know must be a lie because I was still tortured after that. My mother, Geetje Hofman, was tortured to death by the Jesuits because she was a Protestant Christian, and the Jesuits have sworn to kill all Protestant Christians in their extreme oath, also found in the Library of Congress. In violation of the Genocide Convention. Torture log, greetings superior beings, greetings supreme being. This is a new torture log by me, though I have written numerous overviews of directed energy weapon attacks before. Disarm, 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 the alpha and omega. Okay, well, I guess these are some important points for everybody. And should I add something to make it even worse? Dental torture, locking in on brainstem, thalamus. We are all humans and computer programs. Locking in on brain, clicking sound, locking off, clicking throat and suppressing voice by muscle movement directly. A quantum computer can simulate any person. See synthetic telepathy, remote neural monitoring, in the Maleg patent. Remotely monitoring and altering people's brainwaves, and the Hatayama patent, remotely controlling a person's emotions. So never commit suicide, program yourself never to commit suicide. You are the only one that can prevent it, and the only one that could do it. Of course you cannot commit suicide. So, perhaps if I relax, then I can come up with even more better ideas. Inverting my right leg, my upper leg would work. So what they do is illegal, advocating genocide is illegal, what I do is not illegal. And I hope they are arrested. the torturers that have tortured my mother to death with harp are arrested or fired, or at least that the torture is stopped. That's my goal. Stopping the torture, not necessarily arresting anybody. Other than that, it's a nice sunny day in the Netherlands. So trust no one, nothing is what it seems. The opposite of whatever I said may have been true. I might have been kidding, or whatever. It might be meant politically. And single women are still welcome for a shiatsu massage if I like you. At least you can get free 3D glass and a free beer if you are a single female older than 18. I would like that if some single woman would visit me. It'd be really nice. They've removed my ad from happysingles.nl, so that's why I'm using this method. Because as soon as I had positive responses of women my own age on happysingles.nl, they've removed my account from that website. And I have mailed them about it, but they have not mailed me back. So I hope they can unblock my Love God account, basically. So we'll see if that happens. So I'm against the torture, and I'm for the opposite of what the people that are for world war are for. I'm for the opposite of genocide. I'm for maintaining the world's global population around 7 billion people. On universalpeace.jimdo.com at the bottom you can see videos of their illegal scalar orbs that are used to make the illegal crop circles with HARP and other ionospheric heaters. There are 12 scalar weapon countries that are able to ward off nuclear weapons, so if they don't do that and pretend that they have to place a missile shield in Poland that can be part of their planned genocide and their setup, they have nuclear ground detonators. For example, dropping the pedo fat man on little boy in Hiroshima by the Jesuits. It was done with ground detonators. According to some, they use flash bombs in reality in combination with the ground detonator, and after that the Jesuits walked out unscathed and they blamed it on a miracle by the Virgin Mary. So it's clear that it could be true that they don't have airborne nuclear weapons that can move, only ground detonators, which they must then already have placed in buildings. They must already have placed them in big buildings, which they demolish, like the WTC was demolished with thermite, according to Dr. Jones in reality. Not Alex Jones, is an interesting name, Dr. Jones, like Indiana Jones basically, but not Indiana. So you can probably see the fly that they control flying around on this video. It all fits in with their legal brain control and legal psychic suppression to create a negative dystopian New World Order after depopulating to 500 million and sterilizing everybody to make them more docile, more controllable, brain-controlled slaves. So they want totally control people, not what they have now. And the people that want that are less than 1% of the world's population, so that is something to watch out for, that you don't accuse just anybody. It's best not to lay blame on people and external events at all. That's what I'm trying to avoid also in this video. So I'm thinking also a nose ring basically would be cool, I guess. And I thought I look a little bit like Meister Proper or something. As a child I never imagined that so much torture would be possible and that such horrible people would exist. So I think I will get a nice fiancée before the World War starts, if there is a World War, and it's doubtful. And I can return to the reasons why there will not be a World War to close this video cast. And those are in this article. So we had cost of war. Not economically beneficial anymore. Past wars have often been motivated by what a country stands to gain. We no longer stand to gain from war. In today's global economy, any large-scale war would be economically damaging for both sides, especially if it were between interconnected superpowers like China and the United States, because war would be more costly than peace. Neither side is likely to hedge. Furthermore, most people realize the grave cost of nuclear weapons. The United States has an arsenal capable of destroying the entire world more than once. That kind of weaponry benefits nobody. Real best and one and only reason World War III is not going to happen: the leaders of the 12 scalar weapon countries all have families. No one without a Tesla plasma dome would survive the scalar weapon attacks, not even with bomb shelters. Universal peace.gmail.com. The Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement was created to reduce the danger of nuclear war between the United States and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. The agreement was signed in Washington, D.C. The United States and the USSR agreed to reduce the threat of a nuclear war and establish a policy to restrain hostility. The United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, hereinafter referred to as parties, have agreed as follows. Article 2. That each party will refrain from the threat or use of force against the other party, against the allies of the other party, and against other countries in circumstances which may endanger international peace and security. Make every effort to avert this risk. So that's about the Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement. Article 7. This agreement shall be of unlimited duration. So that's the opposite of what they're doing with their insane preemptive nuclear doctrine, in my opinion. But this agreement, the Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement, still stands. We disagree. Law. Universalpeace.jimdo.com. U.S. Defense Secretary expands Preemptive War Doctrine to Include Nuclear Strikes by Alex Lancier, 30th of October 2008. Russia's new military doctrine allows preemptive nuclear strikes. So I'm against that, basically. 14th of October 2009. Superior doctrine, prevent world war and create universal peace by any means necessary. I find the insane preemptive nuclear doctrines of the US and Russia a shame to humanity and in violation of the Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement, so the insane preemptive nuclear doctrine should be turned back to normal immediately to prevent another insane world war by any means necessary. No first use, NFU, refers to a pledge or a policy by a nuclear power not to use nuclear weapons as a means of warfare unless first attacked by an adversary using nuclear weapons. There is no use in retaliation. You'd only hit the humans that are not in the underground cities, so those people are innocent. They're not the ones that have attacked you and your country. If you would retaliate, you would kill the wrong people that would want to help you, probably. Earlier the concept had also been, because they don't want to die, earlier the concept had also been applied to chemical and biological warfare. As of October 2008, China and India have publicly declared their commitment to no first steps, otherwise countries we should listen. NATO has repeatedly rejected calls for adopting NFU policy, arguing that preemptive nuclear strike is a key option. Citation needed. In 1993, Russia dropped a pledge given by the former Soviet Union not to use nuclear weapons first. In 2000, a Russian military doctrine stated that Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons, quote, in response to a large-scale conventional aggression, unquote. Not FU, NFU. 1. I do not advocate killing anyone that has planned a world war to prevent genocide, only people that have the means to do so if there is no other way to prevent the genocide. 2. Pikes' letter to Mazzini is fake. If the word Zionism did not exist in 1871, which according to sources it did not. Chaos theory, order theory is left out for this once-in-a-lifetime event. There is no use in real retaliation, only in threatening with it, because only innocent civilians would die in a counter-strike. Not the people hidden in underground cities that attack the US, Adolfo forbid. There is only use in warding off the attack of the enemy to save all civilians, make them eternal and bestow maximum fulfillment upon all humans now. Confidence is he. Instead of confidence is high. Okay, okie dokie. Universal Peace op jimdo.com. Over, and then I can turn off the camera. Well, I'm very happy that the torture stopped, so that means they've improved their program and they have taken action to end the illegal torture, and I hope that stays the same. And well, I advocate using the real law, like driving on the right side of the road. I think that is in our benefit to get us faster from point A to B. Well, that's it for now, I guess. If I have something else that's important, then I will make a new podcast, videocast about it. I know there are numerous other things that I'd like to mention, but preparing for World War is my main message for now, so that you are prepared and helping to prevent a world war and create universal peace. They're suppressing my voice, so watch out, they're tickling my throat with harp. That would be very nice. Universal peace now. Universalpeace.jimdo.com